Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Live. My name is Ashley Hay. I'm the importer of Powertex for Australia and also an artist. So today I am excited because, of course, it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas and lots of festivities happening with friends and family. So my hope is that you really enjoy today's session where I am going to show you and share with you my gorgeous Christmas reindeer and how I actually made him. So you can see him sitting here. This one is not finished. He's still got to have his antlers put onto him. So he needs to have those added on so that he gets that little bit of character. So I'm going to take you through the process of making this gorgeous little sculpture. And if you would like a full tutorial on it, let me know in the comments, and I might actually do an online project in it for you for next Christmas that you can, where you can purchase the whole thing, and I can show you step by step how to make him. But essentially, one of the wonderful things about Powertex is that you can create anything that you like, any form that you like, simply using discarded, recycled, upcycled, junky materials to make your form. So let's just talk about the form briefly. I know many of you have done a lot of work with Powertex, but for those of you who are beginning, you can just play and experiment with form, and then use the Powertex to actually create beautiful surfaces on your artwork. So this is where it really comes into its own. So you can use the stone art clay, which is what I've used here, to actually create really gorgeous little textural effects, and I'll talk you through some of that today. So today's episode is going to be super exciting. I hope it inspires some of you to get into the Christmas spirit over the weekend if you're not doing your shopping, and but maybe it will be a project for you to do next year when Christmas comes up again, so, or through the year for Christmas in July. Hey Anne, lovely to have you here, and thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. And I'm so thrilled you love my little reindeer. He looks fabulous when he's finished. So I've got 3 in progress here. I would like to create a little Santa sleigh for them all, or do something quirky with them. Or yeah, who knows what will happen next. So anyway, let's talk form. So if we have a look at this one, you can see how it is simply masking tape and wire. And so this one was done a little while ago, so you can see some of the masking tape is getting a little bit loose. So before I started working on this one and finishing his booties off and doing his little legs, I would probably just tidy up some of that tape so that it is just tidy, and then I can go for it with my stone art. So this one here is masking taped, and then it has the stone art booty put on. I've done it more as a like a sled boot, I guess you would say, but it will look super cute when it has little bells on the end of it, so like the antlers do. So I put like little gold balls on these. So I will show you a number of things as we're progressing. Talking form, so it's simply wire, styrofoam, and a styrofoam ball for the head, and then little bits of cardboard or wire and alfoil to create the rest of the form. And obviously the antlers are wire. So if I hold this one up for you, you can see that basically what I've done is I've left like a giant little piece here so that I can actually attach it on later. So I find that working the antlers separately and then adding them on is really good, because then it doesn't kind of pull off while you're working. and you can get a really nice finish on it, then add it on and camouflage it into the sculpture. So if we, hang on, where's my one without the antlers? It's this one. So you can see how, you know, that just sits really, really flush and neatly on the back there. So I would simply attach that for an instant stick with a little bit of stone art. Then I would allow that to dry, just dry off. Maybe hold it on with some plastic wrap just while it's drying. And then I would actually be putting a strip of fabric over the top to make it really, really secure, and then camouflage it in. So that is how I have done it. So you can see this one here is actually finished on the back. So that's how I've done it. I've actually just put stone art underneath. This one doesn't have fabric. I've just put a bit of stone art over the top. And so that is now really, really secured. So I'll be able to add elements onto here. So I want to add some more little red balls onto here so that he gets some lovely contrast. And then of course finish off with some beautiful color tricks of rich gold. Hey Donna, lovely. Donna from Canada, lovely to have you back and watching. And yeah, I look forward to seeing some more lovely creations in the Powertex Australia Creative Hub from all of you guys over the Christmas period and New Year once you are back in your art rooms. Sue, welcome from a cold England. And I'm so thrilled that you love the idea of this little reindeer and you got up to watch. So thank you for watching. And Nicole from Three Hearts Art Studio in beautiful Mandurah, just about 35 minutes up the road from me. So it is just a beautiful, beautiful part of Australia where we live. We're both on the coast. I'm near Penguin Island and near Seal Island. So if you are overseas, you might want to look up some of these places because it is beautiful here. I should share more with you guys where I am as well. Okay, so we've talked form and simply using wire, masking tape, styrofoam, our foil. So aluminium foil is perfect because you can actually scrunch it and shape it into you know, the shape. Nikki, I might run a reindeer workshop again next year. I didn't do it this year because of all my ops, but definitely leading up to Christmas next year, I'm thinking I might do an angel tree topper and a reindeer and probably some sort of Christmas gnome. So keep it, they'll be coming up, you know, through the year. I might do one of them in Christmas in July. And then you've got all of these things ready for Christmas instead of doing them at last minute when we're all in that Christmas rush period. I hope you guys have really enjoyed the little gifts that you've been making over the that I've been making and sharing with you over the last few weeks. If you have missed those, because Donna, I know you're watching for the first time in a little while, be sure to have a look back at some of the Friday lives because there is some fabulous, fabulous ideas there. So next week, I'm not going to be on Friday Live. I'm going to take next week off and then I will be back with you the following week in the new year. So next week you might want to binge watch some Friday Lives if you're not doing anything, but there's plenty to look at from over the last few weeks where I've shared brooches and bottle bling and lots of lovely little projects that are really, really easy to do. So Donna's just saying, yes, I would love to see the reindeer as fully explained in an online workshop. So hint, hint. And Mariana, welcome and thank you for watching from Brisbane and for I'm really glad that you enjoy Friday Lives and appreciating the little inspirations that I share each week. So that's awesome. Alrighty, so let's crack on without any further ado. So you simply just make a form and really, really super, super easy. Sue is also saying, yes, please make an online course. That would be great. So yeah, let me know if you would like me to do that and I will work on that for next year. So It's always fun to do some things for Christmas, and especially when it is these special little projects. Okay, so once we have the form, what we then want to do is we then want to go, okay, now how am I actually going to finish the form off? Now, these ones were done as demo pieces during my actual workshops that I was running. So, I do them very quickly. And so you can see, there's a little bit of inattention to detail in some of it, but I can easily go back into some of these and make them super, super cute. So I definitely want to finish these. I love them, and they've all got different characters, and I'm thinking that it would be fun to actually do some different elements on some of them as well. Fiona is also watching from north of Brisbane, and thank you for the little comment and that you're enjoying the inspiration as well, the arty inspiration. And yes, Denise, these are super cute. So they are just lovely. So Denise is from the Happy Scrappy Bug. They're in Harvey. So if you are local there in Harvey, Denise stocks Powertex. So even if you're sort of down Bunbury way, Harvey is a bit closer if you want to stop in and have a look at some artwork that's done with Powertex in the flesh with Denise. So her forte, of course, is she's got a beautiful scrapbooking shop down there. So I must get down there in the new year, Denise, and come and check it out and see you. So okay, so the first thing we want to do is deal with this skin so that when we are doing the rest of it, we've already got the skin done and we don't have to paint it. So when you're creating something with Powertex, the wonderful thing is you can create beautiful textured surfaces with the stone art clay or with the easy 3D flex or with the 3D sand and easy structure. So there are so many possibilities that you can do to create beautiful surfaces, especially if you're not trying to get it done in a day. So I have worked out these so that I can step by step take you through the process in a day. When I'm doing the online course, I'll do it with a little bit more detail so that you can see, some options in terms of how you can change them, what else you can do, so that, there's more to it than just what I show you in the day in the workshop. So to get the skin, I've actually used the yellow ochre Powertex, which I actually really love. And I've used the 3D sand with the yellow ochre to make it more pasty. And I've popped that on, and then I've sprayed it with Bista. And because I've done that, and like I say, I am doing it in a day, you will sometimes get this really gorgeous crackle effect that happens as well. So if I stick it out in the sun after it's been sprayed with the Bista, it gets this really beautiful crackle effect, or heat it up with the hairdryer while it's drying. And you can see it just gives like a really beautiful finish to that skin. So that then when I finish off all the other elements, I've worked backwards so that I have already done and painted the underlayers before I've done the next layer. And that is the real trick, is actually thinking, okay, what layer do I need to do first? So I've created my beautiful sculptural form. I've got this idea that I want to do, but I want it to have a base layer. So working with the sand and the Powertex and mixing it into a bit of paste, it will actually give you better coverage than just the Powertex on its own. It camouflages, maybe any imperfections that you've got with a little bit of your tape. I do try and make that tape finish as smooth as possible, because, when you're forming with the masking tape, it's not just about sticking things down. It's actually about creating the sculptural form and the surface that you're then going to cover with other elements. Okay, so then after I have done that, I actually put his socks on And then I actually do the boots. So you can see this one has his socks on. So he's got lovely leggings happening there that need to be blinged up, and he hasn't got his booties on yet. Whereas this one, you can see he's got his socks on, and then I've actually embellished this one and I've put one of the booties on here. So I have actually used red stone art clay. So I've explained in previous videos that, you know, I can use any colour stone art. I don't have to use red stone art. But when I do the reindeer workshop, I do use red stone art clay because it makes it a little bit faster. If people don't have the time to really paint it up properly, they still have the beautiful feet done and the little balls done with the red Powertex that they can then really finish with some detail. But you can see I've done different types of booties. My finished one is under the Christmas tree at my mum's house. So that's the one that was photographed for the session today. And so you can do any booties that you like. So this one is more like a hoof, whereas this one's more like an elf shoe. So you can play around and muck about with that. So to do the sock and the little scarf, I've just used t-shirt material. I'm going to actually demonstrate a couple of things before I finish today, but I thought I'd just talk you through what I've done because I have showed you a lot of process things, and I thought I'd just talk you through this one. So this is just t-shirt material wrapped around his little legs, and then this is also just a piece of t-shirt material. I have got an alternative that you can do for the legs, which I will show you. And of course, this is just stone art clay, which has then just been dry brushed. And so this one's looking a little bit like he's got eyes, like a deer in the headlights. So he needs just a little bit of a glint to his eyes. Might even give him a little bit of an eyelid, maybe, so to give him a little bit more expression. So you can create really gorgeous characters just by, you know, how you create the eyes and how you finish those off. So this is just white stone art clay, and then I have painted the black eyeball on there. But you know, again, you could do the stone art clay any color, and you could actually paint it up to the colors you like. So let's get cracking and have a look at doing, so I'll show you on this one an alternative for the legs. So I'll just quickly grab some stuff from my stash here. So what I've used on the legs of these ones is I've actually used strips of t-shirt material, and you can see that the little scarf around his neck is also one of these strips, and you just want to make it long enough so that, you know, it's going to have a little bit of interest. So I might just cut this one down a little bit there. Now, the thing is that you are going to have some stretch in these as well. So when it actually stretches, it goes a lot longer. But it would be super cute to have one with a much longer scarf, and then that means that I can ruffle it up as well. So we'll use that for the scarf. And I'll show you an option for the legs. So instead of using a strip of t-shirt material like I've done on these ones, so I would just simply dip the t-shirt material, paint the legs with some Powertex, and then actually just pull that around. I do like to do the little socks first before I finish off the shoes. That way I'm not, you know, trying to get underneath the shoes. I also like to do a little bit of the fabric on the tail as well. Look at that. Isn't that super cute? And it just gives a little bit more interest on that tail. So I've got this thread stuff. So it's like a really long shoelace. And you could actually use shoelace. This is actually called Ribbon X. I believe you can get it in Europe. It is a little bit hard to get here in Australia. I've got some that I got from years ago, and I love using this stuff. So if you find that, let me know. And I'm just going to get a little bit of tape. And this is something that I actually do sometimes when I just want a sort of quick and easy finish. So I'm going to pop the end of that ribbon X onto the tape so that it's right at the edge of the tape there. And then I'm going to get his little leg here and stick that down. Then I'm going to just simply, let's see if I can lie him down. Hopefully you can still see him. There we go, I'll move him up there. Yeah, let's just see if I can angle that down a little bit. Okay, so that's a little bit better. All right, so then I'm just then going to simply take that. Now, I'm going to just undo that because if I was smart, I wouldn't put that bit at the front. I'd put it on the inside of the leg so that that starting bit isn't the part that you see. And then I just wind it around. Now, I am putting this on dry. And, you know, so it's very easy because it's neat and clean and you don't get your fingers dirty. And it's just, you know, gets caught going around the way. But when I'm putting the ribbon X on, I quite like to let it have a bit of texture by giving it a little bit of a gap in between the fabric and the leg. And of course, I'm still going to put some Powertex onto here as well. So it's all going to be very, very strong by the time the ribbon X dries with the Powertex on it. It will be super, super, super hardened and will just look brilliant. Now I can take that sock up as high as I like. So I just kind of look at where I want to go to on it and how far up I want to take it. And then to end it off, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing that I did at the beginning. I've got a tiny little bit of tape here. Just going to cut that a little. Oh no, that should be all right. Should go on the inside of the leg. So I'm just going to again pop that on there so that it's just going to keep it nice and tight. And then I want to finish that off so that I don't have too much to do. So there's an alternative. So you can see how that is now wrapped with that ribbon X. So that's an alternative to the fabric strip. I do like the fabric strips. They tend to be random. But let's pop a little bit of Powertex out. So I'm going to use the bronze. This one is actually quite a dark bronze. The colour has been changed to, give it a good shake. The colour has been changed back to being a lighter colour, but I have quite a lot of this dark bronze here in Australia because I got the first batch of it. So alrighty, so it is quite black. Now, I do love using the black, but what I am loving about this dark bronze is that it's got a really, really nice thick consistency to it. And so it is really, really lovely to actually work with. And so you can see that, you know, because I am painting it onto the dry fabric. I'll just make sure I'm in front of the camera here. Move my other reindeers out of the way. Okay. And so I just work that Powertex right into those fibers and really work it in. So I am doing it dry. So therefore I want to, use a little bit more than I would normally, because I really want that fabric to absorb the Powertex. So you can see, that is quite a bit darker. Now I am just going to go onto the top of the leg here. And this is where if you do the fabric with the t-shirt material, you wouldn't then have to, um, you know, touch anything up, because you would just go right to the top with the fabric. And then I would get into the inside leg. I'm going to paint over that bit of tape. And to touch that up, I just do a little bit more of the brown crackle with the Bista. Or I might just, paint into the top of that. I might do a little rim of red stone art around the top, which would look super cute. Ashley, what was that red tool you just used to open that bottle? That was actually a gift that was given to me by Fiona from Nurtured Gardens recently. But I have had a tool for years and years and years, that years ago, when Joanne and Nick Boma were actually running Powertex New Zealand, he made a tool for me, which I still have. And it was just made with PVC pipe and a bit of wood, and formed to open the top of the Powertex bottles. More recently, Powertex UK has come out with a tool that you can get if you're in the UK to open your bottles. And so, yeah, this one has just been done on a 3D printer, and to fit the bottle exactly. So how clever is that? So awesome. So it's the same design as what I've got on my tool. The great thing is that you can, really open easily. So yeah, Donna, have a look out to see if the US has those. I'm sure Cheryl from Powertex USA would be able to get those in. If you're in Canada, then there is Powertex Canada as well, and you can ask them. So there you go. So that is my leg done with the Ribbon X. So it is a little bit less textured. I do love the texture of these socks. So I've obviously made it very, very textured as I've put the fabric on, so that when I highlight it with the titanium white, it just picks up that texture. So yes, that is that. And then of course we want to give him a little bit of a scarf, and I'll finish all of these little legs off. Now, when I am dipping, as you know, I do like to not get my fingers dirty, but I tend to get my fingers dirty when I am putting the fabric on. Yeah, Nikki, I will ask for you. I think he just worked it out. So, yeah, very clever. All right, so I am just coating that in. So you can see how dark this bronze is. So this is the colour that is currently available in the 1 kilo and 5 kilos in Australia. The 500 grams is the original bronze colour, but I haven't got any of the original bronze colour left in the 5 kilos or 1 kilogram at the moment. So I will let you know when that is available again. But it is lovely to work with. It's really got very good coverage. And the advantage is that it is actually waterproof, not just weather resistant. So, you know, so many pros with regards to this. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So look at that. These gloves are huge. They're drowning me. So you can see how I like to work with the Powertex. I don't like to drown it. And if I, you know, pulled the Powertex out of this, it would be so long, it would be like a piece of string. So I much prefer to massage my Powertex into the fibres. And as I'm doing that, you can see that I'm just checking that it's covered in all of those little rolled up areas because I want it to be fully covered. I don't want it to be patchy. And so as I'm actually massaging it in, I'm also checking it. All right, so that is done. I have a cloth on hand as well so that I can actually just do a minor bit of a cleanup so that then I can recycle my gloves instead of taking them off and never using them again. And I would do the same if it was on my hands. So just wipe my hands off or wash my hands off. So the great thing with Powertex is that it is water wash up. So, you know, it's very easy to clean up while it is wet. So there we go. Nice clean fingers, because I want clean fingers to be able to manipulate my fabric. I like using these rolled up edges. And so I love it when the edges curl. And so let's just get that and pop it on him. Now, what do I want to do? Do I want to might come around there like that? So I might just need a little bit more length. Because I do love that little bit hanging like that. That's super cute. And then that can come in there. There we go. That looks nice. So you can see how I could fiddle around. If I am fiddling, I love to use a kebab stick. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more length by pulling that down and around. That's better. And I can fiddle with this. And what I'm actually doing is I'm actually manipulating that to where I want it to sit and dry. So the fantastic thing is that you just need to trust your materials and trust that it is going to dry hard, which of course the Powertex will. It's going to dry super, super hard, and it's going to stay exactly where you put it. So if I put some little, you know, twists or curls or tuck it, it's going to actually stay exactly where I place it, which is very, very cool. So let's just fiddle all day. We could fiddle all day, we could. Okay, not going to fiddle too much with that. Let's just pull it down there. All right, so that looks fine. I quite like to stretch out these little edges as well. It just gives you a nice little finish. What you do need to be careful about is obviously not moving that piece of fabric around so much that it leaves a dark colour on your skin, because then you will have to touch up your skin there. So you can see I've got a little bit of patch of white there, so I can just touch that up when I see it. And I love the little curls and folds that you get from the t-shirt material. And that looks super cute. So happy with that. See how that's sitting. And then I can just check here and just make sure, you know, that that is sitting how I want. And then I just have to finish my little tail off with some fabric too. And so wrap the tail, do the little legs, and I could even put a little bell down on that collar. So if I wanted to, I could use a bit of mop string to give it another sort of texture. So you would have seen me the other week do that on the bottle bling, where I used the mop string, created a couple of tassels. So that can be really super cute. So, you know, the sky's the limit. Once you have made the form, then it's just a case of playing around with, you know, what you want to do to finish the form and really spend the time to actually, you know, get it to how you want it. So I'd probably cross that over something like that. I wouldn't keep it white. What I would do is I would be embellishing the scarf underneath first, and then I'd probably paint this, do it black, and then or the um, bronze, the dark bronze that I've used, and then pop that on there. And then if I want it white, I could just use some titanium white, or I could use some rich gold, which is what I've used on the antlers. So look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And just wrapping this string, you can make it look like it's sort of tied together when you put it there. But a really nice thing to put on is to get a few bells, and you could actually put a, you know, a little bell dangling off of there on a piece of string if you want, so that then he makes some beautiful noise as you move him. Yeah, again, that string you could just coat with some Powertex. So I do his little tail, do his scarf, do his legs. I do love the extra little addition of some mop string around there. You can do anything you like. You could give him a saddle and give him a rider, which is sort of, I'll probably do something like that for the online course, just to extend the idea of what you can do. So I'll show you how to make the basic one, but then I'll probably do one where I go, okay, now this is a possibility, and just show you one, you know, that I've played with and different ways of doing things. So there you have it. Very, very simple. Then, of course, you have the stone art on the face and the little booties. So I would, once this is touch dry, then I'd do my little booties, and also the antlers are done with just some, I've just used some t-shirt material on these. Again, I could use the Ribbonex if I wanted to, and then it's just got a little bit of, it's got stone art balls on the top there. So this one, they all need some little stone art balls up on the top there. So simply it is a case of getting your stone art out and having it ready to go. Now, I didn't have any red, so I've got some bronze, so you can see the difference in colour. So this one is, this stone art is made with the original bronze colour, whereas the colour that I've used on the scarf is the dark bronze. So I just make some little balls, and then I punch them over the kebab stick and just form them up so they've got nice form. And get my Powertex. Still got a little bit in here. So I did dry my brush off there. I don't know if you saw that. And then I just put a bit of Powertex on those antlers. And I can put a little bit inside that ball there. And I just pop that in place. Voila. Now, my brush might look dirty, but it actually is very clean here. So I am not eating the Powertex. Don't recommend that. Okay, so I would do that for each of the little antlers. So hang on, I'll just bring that camera up again so that you can see that. Okay, so each of these little antlers would be finished in the same way with a little bit of a ball on the top. Oh, Sue's just saying he looks a little bit overdressed for your sunshine there, but he'd feel right at home over there in the cold. So absolutely, he's got a little scarf on. It would be really cute to put a little beanie on him if you're in over there too. So yeah, I could do a beach one. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Give him bathers instead of a scarf. So, and Donna's just saying, oh, I like the idea of a saddle. So yes, it would be a bit of fun. So that's where, like you can really take your pieces somewhere when you just think with a little bit of creativity, what can I do? So I should show you the boot, but essentially I just make a little bit of, you get a little bit of the stoner. I get enough to sort of cover the whole thing. And then I just kind of make it into a bit like the shape of what I'm going to go around. So you can see it's with these ones, it's sort of a more pointy, triangle-y shape. And so I'm just working that so it's nice and flat, and I want it to have enough stoner that it's going to cover the whole foot. So just make it nice and big. I can use a rolling pin if I want, but I don't mind doing it this way. So that looks fine. Again, get a little bit of Powertex onto there. I always recommend wet to wet with your Powertex. So, if something has dried off and you want to make an adjustment, you can. Even if something has been sitting there for a year or so, you can actually go back and rework your sculpture or your painting just by adding more Powertex onto the area where you want to join something onto. So if you've got something where you go, oh, I've learnt so much more, I'd really like to do some more layers of fabric so it's got more texture. The beauty of it is that you can just go back and add a little bit more. I'm just going to put a little bit more Powertex out there. I didn't quite put enough out. Yeah, 100%. So Donna's just saying she put little bells on. So what I do, Donna, is I do what I've done on the antlers, and then I do them with the gold. So on these little booty bits here, I do a ball and then I paint it gold, and it looks super cute, and it's a lot easier than trying to put on an actual bell because you've got the stoner. I'm just painting his tail while I'm there because I can, and I will wrap some fabric around that to give it a little bit of texture on there. So that will look cute. All right, so just giving him a little bit more stone art, not stone art, a little bit more Powertex on there, just so that it's really well covered all over, because the Powertex acts like a glue as well as a paint. So I am actually using it to actually adhere the stone art clay onto my sculpture. So I'm painting it on the inside at the moment, and I've painted his little foot there, and then I simply get that. So you can see it's not quite big enough. There I was thinking, but you can see how you can just form it around that form. And because it is clay, you can just mold it into the form. So long as you have it pretty close in size, you can just work that into the shape that you want. And I can always add like a little coil to give it more detail around the top of the foot there if I want to. And like I say, I definitely would be adding the little gold ball on, but initially it would be a dark colour, and then I would just use the Colourtrix Rich Gold, which gives it a really, really beautiful finish. Now there is a little bit in here, I don't know if you can see that isn't quite covered with the stone art clay. I can use my clay tools and just get in there, and it's actually better than my finger to actually use those, and it just makes everything a bit flatter. And I can see if I can pull it into that middle bit to join it up. Now, if I can't, I can always get a little bit more of the clay and just make it into a little flat shape there. So I don't need much. Where's my cloth gone? Over here. And I'm just going to get in there and paint that and pop a little bit more clay into there. So it's very, very forgiving. Nothing has to be absolutely perfect. And when you paint it, you're going to, you know, again, find that, you know, it's just so forgiving. All right. Then I do like to just I'll go over the top of that. So you can see how doing that leg first with the fabric is good, because then you can finish it off with the little booty and you don't get horrible edges that just look unresolved. The imperfections in my use of the clay, I could fix those up just by taking a little bit more time to finish him off properly. But what you'll find is when you actually embellish it, it will look more naturally like a suede boot, or if it's not totally 100% perfect. So actually, you know, those textures that you get just as you're making can actually, you know, go in your favor. They can look so good. So essentially, the stone art is what I've used to then make his little face, and I've added it in exactly the same way as I've just showed you how to add the booties. And I will quickly show you, I'll pop on one of these little balls onto the tip there so Donna can see what I'm talking about. So I can just make a little ball there, and just going to poke it with the stick like I did before. It's got a little bit of an opening. Now, because it is more of a pointy end, I can just open that up. Get my paintbrush. Pop some Powertex in here. It doesn't matter if I get a little bit of that. I would normally clean my hands to do this, but, you know, and then I can put that little ball on the end there. So there you go, and I can just shape that Donna to the shape that I want. So I would probably just want it more up like that, and I can just get the tip of this, make sure it's looking round. And now, like I say, if you do get any marks on there, like I say, I would normally wash my hands before I join something like that onto a piece where I don't want to get anything onto. But I can just use some Power Color Red and paint those. And I do highly recommend doing that anyway, because you will find that the Power Color Red with the Easy Coat Glossy or the Easy Varnish will just really finish it off beautifully for you and make it look really stunning. So I'm just going to get my paintbrush and paint that on that tip there so that it is nice. And so look at that. So then we, can paint up any details where we need to finish. So like for instance on the scarf, I actually painted my other one with the red Power Color. So that is, the red, this is my messy used one, red Power Color. And it is a matte pigment. It is a beautiful color. It is super, super red. And when I use it with the Easy Coat Glossy, so let's just put a little bit out so again you can see it. I actually did his little nose with black stone art clay. I could use the bronze and then actually just paint it the dark colour if I wanted to. So I'm just going to put a little bit, this is the Easy Coat Glossy. So it actually dries glossy, which is super, super nice when you're doing these little elements and you just want them to be glossied up. Put a little bit of that out. Get a little bit of that on my brush. Now my brush isn't 100% clean. It's got a little bit of Powertex on it still. Again, I would make sure that the brush I'm using actually, is really clean, and I can take that Easy Coat. Hang on, need to move the camera so you can see. There we go. Right. So if you do overpaint like I just did, you can just touch it up. It's a lot easier. I find it a lot easier to lift it up and really look in underneath. But you can see how beautifully glossy that red is on that dark colour. And so again, this bit where I use the stone art clay, and it's not that glossy, I can just get the Easy Coat Glossy and the red, and I don't know if you can see the difference, but the difference is magic. It looks so beautiful when it's got the Easy Coat Glossy and the red on it. And of course I can do it on his little nose as well and glossy up his little nose too, so that he gets a really beautiful glossy nose. And I would also be doing it on his boots, and while I'm doing that as well, I'm also getting rid of any of those imperfections that I've actually got on there, but it makes his boots look really, really super instead of sort of flat. So if you like the matte look, then you can actually use Easy Coat Matte, which dries a matte colour. And I would not try and touch that up until I have actually until that red's dried. There he is. Looks gorgeous. So they're super fun to do, and like I say, you could do anything that you put your imagination to in this way. Now I'll show you the titanium white as well. So the titanium white is what I've used on his little whiskers here. So I'll put a little bit of that out too. So I did his scarf in red, and I did his tail and his socks using the white. Need a little bit more white. I'll just see if I can clean my brush down a little bit more so the white does, stays white. Yeah, so Donna's saying, oh, I could put the bells around the neck. He's got to have bells. Absolutely, 100%. You could put the bells on his little feet if you wanted to as well. You just have to get small, small ones. So it's just a little bit wet, but you can see how if I dry brush across the textures, I'm just going to dry that off a little bit. But if I dry brush across those textures, what it does is it, leaves the brown bit underneath, and it makes that top bit where I'm dry brushing have those beautiful textures, and he gets whiskers and a little smiley face. Look at that. Isn't he gorgeous? So that's how you get your textural effect. And then, of course, on his little booties as well, you would do exactly the same, where instead of going with the texture, I'm actually painting across the texture and, picking up the highlights that way. Be really careful at the top of his little legs, like I said, so that you don't have to, go back and touch up a lot of it. Get to the inside as well. It's all the attention to detail that makes all the difference. So actually just, working on your finishes, really spending a little bit more time on actually finishing off your pieces makes all the difference to the actual final result. And it's actually brings you so much joy finishing off your pieces properly. I'm just going to put more titanium white out because I might as well do all their socks. So after I'm finished, I think I'll finish all their socks off. Oh, stay there. And so I would do that for each of the socks. And like I say, the little scarf here, which this one is dry, so I might as well show you while we're here. I would use my red power colour. So I've used titanium white and power colour red. And then, of course, I have used rich gold to make it look like he's got bells on. And then I literally paint this fabric. So I can come in and literally paint that. And I can make it as red as I like. I can leave as much of the black coming through as I like. I love having a dark base underneath. I just think that it really gives you a beautiful finish. And it creates a really gorgeous sort of shadow effect that really makes it look quite professional in the finish. So even if you can't paint, this is not to be scared of, because you're literally just picking up the folds that you've already created as you've been actually creating the sculpture. It's a lot easier to do your colour once your Powertex universal medium has dried, because then the colour doesn't seep into the Powertex, and it's got a lot more intensity. So I hope you're inspired to go away and make one of these little guys, you know, and tag me in it. If you post, if you do, make sure you tag me and say, hey Ash, look what I've made from your Friday live. I would love to see your creations that I inspire, and I really appreciate those of you who have posted in the Powertex Australia Creative Hub, which of course is the community. So Sue's just saying, wow, that dried quickly. The Powertex does dry quickly here in the heat, but I played a trick on you because that is actually one that I had already done. So this one already had his scarf and it was already very, very dry. So normally I would definitely leave it overnight so that the fabric is really, really nice and hard, so that you can, like I say, get that real beautiful intensity of colour. And you can see what I'm doing here so that I don't actually brush it onto the skin in the background there. I am being careful and brushing in from the edge and just taking my time going around those bits there so that I don't actually get any on his skin. And because it's all done in black, it actually creates a beautiful shadow effect that looks really, really, really effective. And it means I don't have to cover absolutely everything on that scarf, because it looks like it's just where it turns over, and it's got a bit of shadow. So like I say, then it just becomes a case of letting that dry and then looking at it again and going, okay, am I happy with how that looks, or do I want to put a little bit more red on there? There's his little scarf done. I'm going to touch up his little booty here so that it's more red. Now that one, Donna, I could definitely put a bell on. Would look awesome. So because he's got little hoof shapes, I could easily put a bell on those. And see how quickly it just gets some gorgeous character. Thanks, Heather. Really lovely to see you here. So Heather's just saying that she loves the reindeer. I love this little guy. It's a lot of fun to make. He's got super cute character. And Sue is saying it was definitely worth getting out of bed for. Must be really early in the morning there, middle of the night there, Sue, if you're in England. And that I've motivated you to have a try and make this little fellow. And so, of course, please do tag me in it and say, hey, Ash, look what you've inspired me to do. So it's Ashley Hay Art or Powertex Australia. So hashtag either of those. And if you do want to follow my art pages as well, I do painting, I do portraits and painting outdoors and all sorts of stuff. So of course then once this one is dry enough, I would then get my Colourtrix Rich Gold. Let's just get some of that at the risk of it not being fully dry. Finish this off, and with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, So I don't need much of the metallic pigment. The metallic pigment actually goes a long, long way. So, oh my goodness. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning there. Wow, that is commitment. I am impressed. I hope you get a good sleep when you go back to bed. Okay, so this is the rich gold. It is absolutely gorgeous, and that's what I use on the antlers. Now, like I say, you can actually paint the antlers up once they are dry. You definitely don't want to try and do this once you've just stuck your antlers on and it's all wet and it would just fall off. But look how, it just picks up those folds. You can see how quick and easy that was. I'll just move him out of the way so that you can really get an idea of how beautiful this is. So that's just done with the black Powertex. And then because I have got all the textures in the folds, you can see how when that's super dry, that Colourtrix Rich Gold is really easy to paint on. I don't have to be a painter to make it look amazing. The trick is not to go in the direction that you've draped the fabric, but to go actually across the folds. So for Donna, I'm going to paint up his little bell on his booty here so you can see it. Yep, come on, little guy. So I can spend a little bit more time on that. And personally, I would just spend a little bit more time on this area here where it joins. So I would paint right up to the edge there with the red so that I get that impression that it is a little ball on the end there. But how super cute does that look? So you get the idea. So it's got that little ball on the end, and when he's got his socks on, it does just look magnificent. So Donna says she's been watching plein air painting as well. So this past year, I've had a real struggle with my mobility, and so I have just had a knee replacement, and I'm going to be having another one in the new year. So next year, end of the year, there'll be no stopping me. I'll be back outside again and painting again. I haven't been able to do plein air painting or my portraits this year because I just haven't been able to move very well. So anyway, I will be back to it all next year with a vengeance. Now that I am walking really well, can't wait to get down the beach and collect some objects and bits and pieces to create my sculpture and painting work with, as well as be inspired by our beautiful natural environment. So Donna's just saying he looks wonderful. These little guys, they're so much fun. You will have a blast, have a play. Make sure I'll just put up the Powertex Australia Creative Hub. So if you're not a member on the Creative Hub, please join us there and share your artwork that I've inspired you with, and share other artwork too that you've done with Powertex. And I really, really look forward to seeing what you do, and I love to see it there. Plus, there's so many beautiful people in that community. You will get lots of gorgeous feedback. And of course, if you would like to remember that Friday Live is on, the best way is to subscribe to us on YouTube, and then you'll get a little reminder, especially if you ring that bell, and it will give you a notification when I go live. And of course, if you need any art supplies, you can get them online in Australia at powertex.com.au, or from a trainer near you like Denise, who is down in Harvey, Nicole, who's in Mandurah, and Natalie, who is Bag End Studios in beautiful Yaringapilly in Queensland. So lots and lots of people around the place where you can get bits and pieces done, or you can go and do a workshop with them. Now, I am sure that coming up to Christmas, everyone also has vouchers that if you are looking for a last minute gift, you can actually get a voucher for someone to go and do a workshop, which what a beautiful gift is that. So on the Powertex page, you will find that there is a gift voucher for local workshops with me in Safety Bay. It is down the bottom of the page where it says Christmas Workshop voucher. So check that out. All right, everyone, have a wonderful creative weekend. I won't see you next week for Christmas. So I might pop in and say hey and wish you a happy Christmas. But other than that, I really hope that you have a beautiful family time, wonderful festive season. And I will see you the week after next for more on Friday Live, and it will be the new year, and we are going to power up for 2025 in the next session. So be sure to join me for that episode, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the new year. So ciao, have a lovely Christmas. Sue is off to bed, so I will see you next year, everyone. Bye.